Welcome to GouldFish on Games, where we join the USS Voyager as it continues its journey back from the Delta Quadrant, and due to the many dangerous situations that they encounter, they decide they need a hazard team, the Elite Force. Star Trek Elite Force was developed by one of the titans of FPS gaming, Raven Software, and was published by Activision back in the year 2000. And you gotta love that tagline, set phasers to frag, how very Quake and very unlike Star Trek. Inside the box we get the game on a CD, with a key that's only needed for online play, as well as a reasonable manual that we'll take a bit more of a look at later. We play as either Alexander or Alexandria Monroe, which both just so happens to be shortened to Alex. So get used to being called Alex or Monroe for the whole game, as that meant they just needed to record one set of lines for most of the cast. Except for Tuvok, he still likes to call you either Mr. or Miss Monroe. It was really nice to have this sort of option back then and show some real thought in the design, even if the models look very chunky. But being one of the earliest third-party games to use the Quake 3 engine, they really did push it further than id Software. In a break from many earlier Star Trek titles, this game takes place over a single story, when Voyager gets whisked away by an alien probe, again, and is trapped in a starship graveyard. And who is going to take on the dirty job of trying to get the starship out? Well, not the main crew, no, not this time. It's Voyager's newly minted Elite Force, the Hazard Team. This consists of a number of team members who look as if they only had half the face made, and then just flipped to make the rest of it. Yep, I can't unsee this now. And while most of the team are brand new, we do get
Chell, what are you doing?
Oops, I think I shot that transporter. Great.
And it also seems this is a crossover episode, as
It's the maniac!
from Wing Commander left the Confederation and has joined Starfleet.
Monroe, I'm wound up. I'm a quantum torpedo ready to blow, man.
Maybe you
He
should
still
go
has that
apologize
same
to
hot-headed
boss,
attitude,
Steve.
but it seems without Blair around, he doesn't quite have the same amount of luck. After stopping the ship from exploding, you have to repel boarders who are trying to scavenge the ship. And because breaking into someone else's ship and trying to steal from them is wrong, Starfleet won't stand for that. And after some technobabble, we're on to the next mission where we have to break into an alien ship and scavenge some data. But it's okay, as the ship is empty. Whoops, spoke too soon. It's now very full of these very creative looking aliens, which are trying to attack us because we are, well, uninvited. So the only option is to kill them.
A misunderstanding. For killing some of your people, we were only acting in self-defense.
Kill? Have not killed. When injured, our people return to stasis, regenerated.
Okay, well, that's fine. I was worried Starfleet was going to have to get their hands dirty. And after the floating aliens decide that they're actually our friends, they give us some information, and it's now our turn to break into someone's ship and steal stuff, which results in a stealth mission.
Careful, no running. Footsteps could alert the Klingons. Stay quiet.
As this station has multiple alien races, you're going to have to deal with Klingons, Malon, and amazingly, even though I've never been a big fan of them, the Mirror Universe. I think it's mostly because it's a Constitution class starship, which you can actually mess around with the intercoms.
Who are you?
And while the game is pretty much mostly linear, you can miss out on some of the objectives that you get,
See if you can
which
find
will
Odell.
update as the
But
level
be careful.
continues. But don't worry about not knowing about a new objective, it will let you know when they've changed, and then you can just press the button and you can see what you've got to do.
Made the pattern enhancers. I've got the isodesium.
And after borrowing the MacGuffin that will help Voyager work again, the Borg promptly shows up and takes it away from us, because this wouldn't be a late series Voyager episode if there wasn't some Borg. With each mission, our arsenal continues to grow, till we get a total of 9 weapons. You start off with the 2 classic Federation ones, the hand phaser, which has unlimited regenerating ammo and has a stun and crispy setting. It's actually pretty good. The other is the phaser compression rifle, which again has stun and gone. They also class this as the sniper rifle. It's actually quite good for that, but you can actually zoom in at any time, and so you can actually snipe with the phaser if you want. We also start to get some alien weapons, like the scavenger rifle, which is like a submachine gun with a fast but scattered main mode and a grenade as its secondary. I wonder where I've seen that before. This introduces a second of the two ammo types, with most Starfleet weapons using energy and the alien guns using dilithium. Energy can be gotten from the wall-mounted dispensers and dilithium from crystals that you'll find scattered around the levels. Due to this setup, it actually can be quite easy to run out of ammo for both your weapon types, so you end up with only the phaser, so it's lucky it's pretty good. As even though we can actually store helmets and all these guns in a transporter buffer, we can't hold more than a tiny amount of ammo for each weapon. Well, that actually feels pretty much on brand for Starfleet, to be honest. The next weapon is the stasis gun, which is about as close as you're going to get to a shotgun, with a wide primary fire and the scattered secondary. To complement the scavenger rifle, we also get this minigun from the Hirogen, which has a very fast primary attack, as well as this very cool secondary that bounces around all the rooms. And with all the engagements with the Borg, we've got a new weapon designed by 7 of 9 and the Voyager crew, called the iMod, a phaser rifle that can infinitely change its settings, and thus the Borg can't adapt to it, which really comes in handy when we go to steal back the MacGuffin. And what sort of FPS would this be if we didn't have a grenade launcher with both normal grenades and sticky rounds? And a rocket launcher, which has the sweetest sounding and looking rocket of all time.
Ah, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, man.
The final weapon in the game is the arc welder, which has a lightning gun attack as its primary and an energy burst as its secondary. The game continues to ramp up the interesting environments and enemies, from the Borg cube, where the iMod will become your primary gun as they'll adapt to everything else, to having to fight species 8472, which actually look quite good here, even if their death animations is a little wonky. You even get to board this super weapon and take on these robotic baddies, which have a really cool introduction.
Uh-oh.
And this feels like a good time to talk about the puzzles. As being a post-Half-Life game, key collection was seen as old school thinking, so it's mostly finding buttons or shooting something to unlock the other area, and more than a bit of crawling through ducts as well as Jeffries tubes. Though the Etherian ship does have this cool puzzle where you have to attract these sprites into fixing consoles you need to enter the next room. I just wish more of the puzzles were like that. But there are two things that will end up blocking you and stumping you more than anything else in this game. The first have to be lifts. As you will see a huge number of these things, and as you tend to be in a team you have to wait for them to run over before it will move.
Excuse me.
Though on occasion they will start to move on their own, forcing the NPCs to jump down. The second is the intermissions, where you get to walk around the ship and talk to various people, who half the time will just say, "Not now," or "Hi Monroe." But what I've found is quite often you'll have done the objective, but it won't trigger the next part of the game. So you'll just keep running around and around, talking to everyone again and again, till the game finally decides that it's done enough and that you can then progress. but this does give us a chance to check out Monroe's quarters, and man, look at the size of this! How does an ensign get his own room and this much space? And what's this on the table? Wow, imagine just leaving this smut lying around. Oh, very un-Starfleet-like. The game's Half-Life inspiration can also be seen in its health system, which can be replenished by going to the doctor, or by using these wall-mounted health units. And slightly redundantly, you have both health and armour. I say redundantly because in single player there's no individual pickups for health and armour, it's just a one-shot, fill them both. And it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. They could have done something more Starfleety, like a regenerating shield, or ablative armour, or something. But no, you just get these single boxes that do everything. As we continue into the game, we find out that this area of space was created by some aliens so they could sample various races and build an unstoppable killing army that will take over the universe. Which we promptly stop, which seems to be the end result of all these genetically engineered swarm races in these stories. So maybe they should just clone us, the hero, and be done with it. On top of the single player game, we also get HoloMatch, which is its own multiplayer mode, as these were starting to become quite popular at the time. With its own set of multiplayer modes, it also gives you a chance to shoot at some of the characters from Voyager, which gives us the chance to shoot at a few of the main characters from Voyager, not all of them. I'm guessing they didn't want people shooting up the main cast. There was also the imaginatively titled expansion pack, with most of its additions centered around the multiplayer side, with new models, modes and levels, with the single player stuff all joined together around the new virtual Voyager mode. This allows you to freely walk around the ship and check out all the various parts you may have just gotten a glimpse of during the main game. But there are a few new areas and bits to find and scan with the newly added tricorder, which is a bit like catnip to a Trekkie like me. But it also gives the opportunity that most Voyager fans had been waiting for, the chance to shoot Neelix or any of the other main cast members. And the only penalty to this? Well, they just throw you in the brig for a while. I think I can live with that.
Ensign, but you'd better straighten up or you might be spending a lot more time in here.
There are a few hidden single player modes, like the black and white Captain Proton holo novel, which is quite nice, or the Borg Slayer, which is a top-down minigame where you have to save 7 of 9. But when people talk about those amazing expansion packs that we used to get back in the day, this definitely isn't one of them. But it does have a few nice additions. Now, it might not have aged well in a few places, it is still a damn fine game and probably one of the better Star Trek action titles. And it even managed to get a sequel, Star Trek Elite Force 2, which we might have to check out at a later date. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, it's not shown up on any of the digital stores, and it probably won't happen anytime soon because it's one of the Activision titles. Though thankfully the game got quite a few budget releases, so you should be able to find one of those with the expansion pack built in. And until next time, I've been the GouldFish, that was Fragging Delta Quadrant style, and this was GouldFish on Games. Live long and prosper. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider liking, subscribing, or transporting it to your friends for their enjoyment. Or you can use your comm badge to leave a message in the comments below.
There is no cause to insult me.